Just days before their Alaska cruise, tragedy struck a family. And this story is one of the most important stories if you're taking a cruise anytime soon.
JJ Cruise.
Hey everyone, what's up? This is Jordan with JJ Cruise. Thank you so much for clicking into the video today. Well, today we have a very sad story, and this is not typically the type of story that you'll find here on the channel, but this particular cruiser is speaking up. She's speaking to national news outlets. She's coming forward online and she's saying that she wants the world to hear her story and hear about what happened to her. So we are amplifying the story a little bit more. And I do believe that this story has a very key, important lesson that is for everyone out there that's about to take a cruise vacation, or honestly, everyone out there that just travels. If you take a vacation, there is a key lesson here that you can take with you. We're going to get into all of this, the information, and what I think is so important about this story. But before we do, I just want to invite you to subscribe to the channel. This is JJ Cruise. If you're new here, we do all things cruising all the time. So if you love cruising as much as we do, please hit that subscribe button. And if you want to hear more important videos like this, please go ahead and hit that thumbs up. A series of worst case scenarios happened to a young woman just days before her cruise. This was a large family cruise to Alaska, so a multi-generational family. You had grandma and grandpa, aunts and uncles, mom and dad, all going on a cruise together. It was for a 50th birthday, and the woman who was turning 50 had a daughter that had gotten pregnant. And she had been trying to get pregnant for the last couple of years. And the worst thing imaginable happened. Just a couple of days before they were supposed to leave for this Alaska cruise, her daughter unfortunately miscarried the baby. Now, due to the series of events and how this happened, her doctors and her medical team told her she should absolutely not go on this cruise because she actually had a risk of hemorrhaging while on board the ship. The cruiser absolutely made the right decision by saying, yeah, we are not going to get on board this ship. And so they had to unfortunately stay back. One of the first phone calls that they made after coming back from the doctors was to the cruise line. And the cruise line in question here was Carnival. Now, there's a lot of parts to this story, so I'm going to kind of try to explain exactly what happened. And I'm going to leave it up to you in the comments below who you think was right or wrong, or if you think Carnival did the right thing here. But essentially, and I'm sure you could guess what happened. This woman was not protected under any type of travel protection. She opted out of the travel protection. She did not purchase travel insurance. However, at times, you can ask for an exemption. You can ask the cruise line if they will have a little bit of compassion or just do something to help you since you had this completely unforeseen circumstance arise right before your cruise. That was the path this woman took, and she was immediately denied. She was told, nope, we are not going to help you. We are very sorry for your loss. And we're sorry for everything that you're going through, but you did not buy travel protection. You are just a couple of days away from your cruise, so your penalty is 100% of your cruise fare. There's nothing that we're going to do for you. Thanks so much, but no. The woman tried again. And they said, okay, we will escalate this up to supervisors, and we're going to email you in a few days. And upon getting back to her, the email said the exact same thing. We're very sorry that this happened to you, but no, we are not going to do any type of exemption for you. Even though you suffered a loss and a medical emergency, you should have had travel protection, and there is nothing that we can do for you. I got to give it to this cruiser because she was extremely persistent. She contacted Carnival again, got the same answer by email, and then after that email came, she actually received a phone call from Carnival just within a few hours of receiving her final rejection notice that they were not going to do anything for her. They weren't going to give her back any money. They weren't going to give her any type of credit. And it was from a supervisor who said, I just want to talk to you and I want to hear your story. Now, this is extremely rare. I have not heard of something like this happening from a cruise line where after multiple rejections, a supervisor actually reaches out, takes the time to talk to someone on the phone to listen to their story. This woman told her story one more time to the supervisor and just expressed how devastated they were that she had tried to get pregnant for a couple of years. This was a huge blow, a huge loss to the entire family. The rest of the family had to go on to the cruise without her and her husband, who had to stay back behind. and that she felt like she was being the responsible one here. She was doing the responsible thing. She technically could have gotten on the cruise against doctor's orders and caused a massive medical emergency on board that ship. But she felt as though she did the responsible thing by saying, I'm not going to cruise. I'm not going to risk anything of my own life or risk anything else on that ship. So I'm going to take whatever loss I have to take and stay back behind. Apparently, after hearing her story on the phone, the supervisor said, okay, let me see what we can do. And they ended up giving her a refund in the form of a future cruise credit that they can use in the future for another cruise. Now, let me just say this. This scenario is not normal. If you've been watching the channel for a while, about 18 months ago, we talked about a story where someone actually died in a family before the cruise was about to happen within final payment, and Norwegian Cruise Line was not going to do anything for this family. They were not going to refund them, give them future cruise credits. They said, sorry, even in the case of death, we're not issuing anything. You should have had travel protection. So the cruise lines can be very stingy, very stringent on these types of issues. They can totally deny you any type of future cruise credit or refund, even in the case of a tragic loss. But I have to give it to the supervisor because she found enough compassion and empathy for this woman to go ahead and move forward with a future cruise credit. Now, why do I think this is one of the most important stories for every cruiser to hear? Because travel protection is not only important, it is imperative if you have some type of major medical change going on in your body, whether that be pregnancy, or maybe you're on a new medication that could have some potential side effects, or maybe you're just newly diagnosed with something that's different and your life looks a little bit different today than it did a few months ago. Unforeseen circumstances can happen every single step of the way, and it's on you to have that travel protection, that insurance, to make sure that you're covered or safe regardless of what happens in your life. Honestly, it's kind of like, let's say you got in a car and you were only going 3 blocks down the road, so you didn't wear your seatbelt because, well, you're only going 3 blocks, nothing's going to happen. And within those 3 blocks, you get in a car accident and you now have major medical damage to your body that you have to pay for when you could have just put your seatbelt on to make sure that you were safe for that short period of time. I have all the compassion and the empathy for this cruiser and for this cruiser's family. And I think that two things can exist at once. I think you can acknowledge that, yes, travel protection should have been purchased in this scenario, but you can still absolutely have 100% compassion and empathy for this cruiser and for the situation that she has suffered. It's a very, very hard lesson to learn. And this woman was kind of given some grace from the cruise line by getting a future cruise credit after everything that she had been through. Let me know what you think about this story in the comments below, and let me know if you are someone that does typically travel without travel protection. I can tell you that Jared and I have an annual policy that we travel with because we travel so much. So we carry travel protection with us every single step of the way. You never know what is going to happen, and it's much better to be safe than sorry. Well, that was the video for today. Thank you so much for watching. Again, let me know what you think of this story in the comments below. My name is Jordan. This was JJ Cruise. Until next time, see ya.